A good CAD tip that I can give you is to keep your work area neat and tidy. That's the idea about this next video that we're going to look at here. We're going to use the delete duplicates command. The delete duplicates command is also known as the overkill command. And originally it comes from an add-on tool pack called the Express Tools that used to be a big extra feature you had to pay for in AutoCAD. But now a lot of those are just built into regular AutoCAD. Now overkill will delete duplicate objects, merge polylines, and get rid of messy line work. Let's open up an example file. Go to Open Files. Go to this chapter for your files, and let's open up the Architectural Annotation Scaling and Multi-Leaders drawing file. Now there are a lot of objects in this drawing. To run the delete duplicates file, just type in overkill, and then you select your objects. This is one of those types of commands that you're not really going to see what happens in the background. So you select your objects and then you right click, and now your options come up. You really use the delete duplicate objects the majority of the time to delete objects that are right on top of each other. That happens. Sometimes you copy paste, or you just copy things, or you insert blocks multiple times accidentally. You get line work on top of each other. It happens. So this will help you to clean that up, reduce your file size, and get things out of it. You can tell the delete duplicates objects command to ignore specific object properties, and you just click on those lists right here. So ignore the color, ignore the layer. We don't care about that. Or you can be very specific and say, yes, pay attention to these items. I want everything that's a different color to go away. Because a lot of times, if you're working, for example, like I do in civil design, we design a roadway. And a lot of times we'll lay out the center line of the road first, and then we'll offset that to create our edge of pavement. And then from the edge of pavement, we need the curb lines. And then a lot of times we'll have to hatch pattern the pavement roadway itself. And so a lot of times doing that can create duplicate lines right on top of each other in different layers. Sometimes you need to get rid of those lines, and you may want to isolate them by color or by layer or line type. And you can say, yes, get rid of those. Other options that you have here are to optimize segments within polylines. You can ignore them, or you can not, or you can break them. You can combine collinear objects. So sort of like that join polyline command that we used to use in the polyline edit. This can do that for you as well. So it'll do a lot of different things. The tolerance controls the precision with which overkill makes numeric comparisons. Essentially, this value is 0. So that means that the two objects being compared must match before overkill modifies or deletes one of them. So for example, if I change this all the way to 0, that means they have to be exactly the same length. If they're exactly the same length, all right, get rid of one of them. Or you can put in a tolerance. You can say, if they're 1/10 of a unit in size and difference, that's okay. That's enough to get rid of one of them. And of course, I've gone over the ignore object properties. It just ignores that object. It starts off with the tolerance here, and it says, oh wait, these two lines are a little bit different in length, okay, but they're a different color. So now just ignore the color and delete the one anyway. And you go on for all of these different settings. So when you go to the optimized segments within polylines, to get more specific here, when you select these, the individual lines and arc segments within the selected polylines are examined by AutoCAD, and any duplicate vertices or segments are removed. And that happens sometimes when you make or edit a polyline, or if you do a fillet or some other different type of modifications to it, it will happen. Also, overkill compares the individual polyline segments with completely separate line and arc segments. So if a polyline segment duplicates a line or an individual arc object, one of them then will be deleted. If this option here is not selected, then polylines are compared as discrete objects, and two sub-options here are not available. Of course, this will combine them, etc. So when you click OK, and I will press the F2 button, and it tells me what I did. Nothing was deleted, and 4 overlapping objects were selected after it found 38 individual objects that were selected. So nothing met my criteria in this case. So the overkill command, or the delete duplicates, is something that you're going to want to do after you've already done a lot of work in your file. Or once your file is complete, maybe you're sending it to someone, you can use the delete duplicate. You can actually select just a small portion as I did here, or you can select the entire file if you'd like. So this isn't something that you're going to use all the time, but I did want to show it to you to help you clean up your drawings, because a lot of times when we first start off, we do duplicate our line work accidentally, inadvertently, just because we're not used to working with it. So if you find you're snapping to something that doesn't look like it's there, but yet it's there, try the delete duplicate function, and maybe it'll help clean things up a little bit.